Well, welcome back to the Bushcraft shelter. Really pleased to be here. After a couple of videos up in the mountains, it's great to get back out into the woods again, so really excited about today. So we're going to be doing some building, and it's to do with this particular table here. So this is my Bushcraft kitchen that I've made, and this is a gravity table that built quite a while ago and use it more or less every single time I come out actually camping, just for cooking and food prep, etc. But what I want to do an awful lot of things during the winter, cooking bread, etc. So what I'm wanting to do is just sort of put a roof over the top of it so that it's going to be waterproof. So I'll show you just now just what the plan is. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a roof, and again I'm just going to make an actual frame. So I'm just going to put a roof building sort of stanchions just with the roof going across, and then it'll just be beams going across, and then moss on top of that to try and make it as waterproof as possible. And again, I want to try and use as much of the sort of woodland as feasible as well. Again, just using deadfall wood that's lying around in the actual forest. So what we're going to do just now, we're going to get tools out, and we're going to head straight off up into the wood and get some materials sorted out for the actual roof. We've also got to dig some holes. I'm going to put the stanchions in and actually put rocks at the bottom of them just to sort of hold them in place, just to make sure that the whole structure is nice and solid. So let's get cracking. So what I'm wanting to do for the main frame itself is I'm going to get quite thick pieces, just so I can actually make it really solid when I do the actual build itself, and obviously quite long. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig in holes, and as I said earlier on, I'm going to put rocks around the bottom of it just to sort of hold it in place. So I'm going to try and make them reasonably long so I can sort of dig it in and get a really good proper solid structure around the kitchen itself. One of the reasons I'm doing that is a little bit of a concern about high winds. They do tend to sort of have a lot of high winds sort of hurtling through the camp, etc. So I just want to make sure that there's not going to be a problem when I come back and the whole structure's down, as well as the gravity table itself. So as I said, this is the sort of perfect thickness that I'm looking for. And I said I'll look for 4 of these just now. I'll take it about here. Well, I'll tell you what, that was hard work, getting all those bits back. So what I'm going to do now is just the 2 bits that I'm going to bury. I'm just going to clean off the ends just so that they can go in nice and easy. And again, even making sure that there's no bark on it, so it doesn't go rotten or anything. Now, in an ideal world, if I was looking for this for lasting a long time, I would probably sort of scorch the ends just to take the moisture out of the wood. But as I said, this is just a temporary shelter. And I'm going to leave lots of other pieces on there for being able to hang sort of pots and pans and things, which will be quite handy. And they're also perfectly, consider I'm judging that when I'm up in the woods, they're perfectly same length as well. So the way that I'm going to check and see the height and how much, how many sort of feet I can actually bury, I'm going to measure them up against the end of the kitchen table just now. And that will show me. So now I'm going to drill holes in the top. So when I'm putting it all together, I can peg the whole thing. And it'll just keep it all in place. So I've got 3 components all sort of pegged together. Okay, so I'll catch up with you just when I'm about to dig the holes. Okay, so the concept is that's going to lie flat on the top, and again I'm going to drill a Scotch auger. Now there's going to be 3 components to this. I'm going to flip it over and do the same side, so I've got 2 flat sides. But I just need to make sure it's exactly flat, so I'm just going to do the same thing again. Okay, so that's section 1 done. I just need to do that a few more times. So once I get the main parts done, I'll hook up with you. So you'll see that's the structure up, and basically I was actually on position balancing on one of the little tables, so I just battered on and actually put the pegs in. So basically it was a case of drilled holes in 3 components, and then when I've actually put the components leaning against each other, I've just been able to actually put a whittled peg all the way through it. Now the pegs had actually whittled for something else, so I had made them exactly 1 inches, and it was actually going to be for the soaring horse. So I was able to use a couple of spare ones that I had just to put into the main structure there. And as I said, it's fairly solid. The rocks will make a big difference at the bottom. One of the things I was wanting to talk about, I think I've probably talked about it before in previous videos, but just in case you hadn't seen it, the whole idea to me sometimes in bushcraft is, you know, we're not talking tape measures, we're not talking pens, we're not talking whatever, we're using charcoal, we're using different things for actually marking it all out. So what I've been using today is my wee bushcraft ruler, and basically all this is a bit of wood, and then I've just made notches, hopefully you can see it there, notches, and then use charcoal along the edges so that I can measure out, and it's 5 notches, 6 notches, whatever it may be. You know, so I really like that whole concept of it, and obviously using things like chisels and things like that as well is really, really good fun. But as I said, I was trying to get back down to turn the camera on, but it was just a little bit on the slippy side on there, so I just battered on and done the actual main frame. So what I'm going to be doing now is just getting lots and lots of sections just for the actual slats. I'll put some of them on tonight, and then it'll be a case of next time I'm here I'll put moss on the top, so it means I've got a completely or almost waterproof section just for cooking. The great thing as well is it goes back quite far, so the reason I've done it there, the fire pit is literally just there, so I can reach through and take things from the fire onto it. I've also got another little table there just on the fire triangle there, which again I can actually just have things, pots and pans, etc. So I've got a sliding cord just for putting pots on for boiling water. So really, really happy, perfect. I've been looking for doing this for quite a while now, so really pleased with it. But let's go off up and we'll see if we can try and get some slats just now. So I am losing a lot of light here, so I'm going to call it a day for today, but really, really pleased with it. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to turn the camera around, we'll have a quick look just at what we've actually done, just so you can actually see it and see the concept of it. So basically, we sort of dug the hole for the stanchions, the main stanchions to go up, and then it's just been a case of actually just making the wedges on the wood, and that's just going to be lots of those across there with moss integrated into it, and it just really means that when it comes to me cooking, I'll be able to sort of utilise that to the best of my ability and actually have a little bit of coverage for the shelter itself. The reason I've got it sort of sloping away, I've got a couple of options. One, on the bits of wood, I can actually wedge them again, or sort of just amend them just so that it can actually sit a little bit more flush. But the concept initially was I was going to conceivably put a tarp on it, and that would sort of let the water sort of run away. But still not 100% certain as to whether tarp. I prefer to try and leave it as moss and try and make it as natural as possible. But we'll see what happens. Okay, so thank you very, very much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. I've had an absolute whale of a time. I just love building things, and it's great getting back into the woods after being up in the mountains for the last few videos. So I'll be back in again soon. Got a Polish Lviv trip, another hot tent trip as well, so some exciting times ahead. Thanks for watching, take care, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.